Hey everyone, welcome back to The Collision. Daniel here with Sarah, celebrating Star Wars week. We've got a new movie coming to the theaters, The Rise of Skywalker, the end of the Skywalker saga. But before we get there, we have episode 7 of The Mandalorian, so let's talk about it. So episode 7, the last couple episodes we've kind of been bummed out by, the 2 episodes ago, I think we just didn't like.
Mm-hmm.
Last episode wasn't our favorite. It wasn't terrible. So episode 7 and this episode is pretty great, right?
Yes. I was like, yay, it's Return to Star Wars.
Yeah, this one, it's kind of a return, at least in my opinion, a return to form from kind of the early episodes that we enjoyed.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of gets back to the main storyline a bit. With kind of Baby Yoda and some of the significance. And in some ways, and we can kind of break it down, it kind of addresses a lot of the issues of the last couple episodes we've talked about. Kind of fixes some of those, and I think this resulted in a pretty awesome episode. What kind of your takeaways from this episode? Like what stood out to you? What did you like about this episode?
I just like that there was characters we've already seen again in this episode. Just being able to build off of something you already know going into it. I always love watching the recap from the other videos, and I'm like, there's so much foreshadowing, and I was like, they're all coming back. When it shows like
IG-11 in the recap, previously on The Mandalorian, it's like, finally they're they brought them all back.
There's all the ones we thought were gonna come back came back.
Yeah, well, I wasn't sure about I forget his name. Maybe you remember.
Quail.
Yeah, the I Have Spoken. I wasn't sure if he'd be coming back. I knew the robot would. I knew Cara Dune would come back. But it was kind of a pleasant surprise to bring.
Yeah, I liked him. He was one of my favorites the whole series. So.
Yeah, and we can maybe in a second we talk about it. It's kind of bummed he eats it, he gets killed, because I think he kind of feels for this show, even though he's not like force sensitive or get into the force, he kind of feels that OG Yoda role, where there's sort of that kind of life wisdom, and even just the way he kind of bounces off the other characters. I think they're gonna miss having that presence.
And he's just the older dude. He's just I feel like every show needs that older character that can has lived longer, had more experience. And
kind of like the Obi-Wan Kenobi to Luke or to Han, just sort of giving wise advice about the world. And so I was bummed that he, and who knows, maybe Baby Yoda heals him, or it's Star Wars, Emperor Palpatine's coming back in the new movie. There's no one's really gone, but we get IG-11 back, the droid, although he's different. What do you think of his? He's not in it a ton. But...
No, it was interesting. I think seeing Mando interact with him. I was shocked to even let him on the plane or his ship at all. But
well, he's pretty trusting for a, because even and this is nitpicking. But this Mandalorian, we don't see his face. I'm guessing he's probably 30, 40 or so. And it's when he's thinking of who he can kind of have come along with him on this mission, his lifetime of friends and people, he just goes and gets the last 3 people that he's met in the last, whatever. But he's kind of trusting with these people. He doesn't really know them all that well. But I think your last review we did, you kind of talked about how one of the things that recently has sort of been holding the show back a bit is just the lack of kind of that group dynamic, and just sort of being able to have other characters bounce off each other. There's this sort of Mando and a bunch of new guys every week. What do you think about the group dynamic in this episode?
I think it was the strongest that we've had in any of the episodes, just having all 3 of them together. And then I don't really know if we'd count the other guys because you didn't really see them very much, but yeah, the 3 of them just they each fill a role, and I feel like they bounce off each other really well. They just kind of jive. It was kind of fun. I enjoyed the scene where they were the Yoda, Baby Yoda was gonna kill her, and then he came in. It was just a super tense, but it's still
Yeah, and there's so much more, I guess, possibilities for you know, because even like they had the I Have Spoken guy, and he was interacting with like Cara Dune. So you kind of have interactions that aren't just like it's not only up to the Mandalorian to do all the lifting. Like in recent weeks, every interaction involves him.
Yeah.
Where this one you have the other characters kind of they're developing and growing.
And there was still tension between them all. Like, that's what I liked. That there was still, like, it wasn't like they're all, okay, we're all great. We're all going together. We're all going to do this. They're all happy. Like, they all, like, there was tension between each character.
Yeah, and I kind of wonder, like, you know, last episode, I don't think it was bad. I just didn't enjoy it as much. But I do think in maybe the role it serves in the whole series is you show sort of a dysfunctional team last episode and kind of the different roles they fill. You kind of have like the muscle and you have the different, you know, they're all filling their role. So then kind of piggybacking off of that, this episode, you kind of see like Mando's, you know, I hope that it's, you know, from this point on, it's more of like a group dynamic, like that they stick together beyond this one.
Well, mine is one of them.
Well, yeah, the ones that live, and even you know his kind of guild, the guild leader.
Yeah,
you know, he shows up again. I don't know. Did you see the? I feel like it's pretty obvious that he's probably going to double cross.
Yeah, we were like, this isn't going to go the way that he thinks it's going to go.
Yeah, but kind of even you know you kind of wonder how much he'll be, if he's going to be part of the team as well.
I hope that they keep him like on the good side. Like, I hope he kind of stays part of the good team.
Yeah, and he's just, I feel like he just sort of chews up his scenes. Like I just love him as an actor.
Yeah, I think he's great.
So we can, as far as the sort of the story line, we get back to, you know, the main kind of Baby Yoda, you get back to, you know, the client and kind of the Imperial side of things. What do you kind of think of this, how things unfolded? They kind of...
this is what we were waiting for. I feel like just to get back to the storyline we started with and something to happen and like him to deal with some like what's going on. I was not expecting I don't know what they're called. The death troopers to like be the ones shooting. I didn't even know what was going on in the moment. I didn't know where all the bullets were coming from. And then I was like, wait, did they just kill all their own people? So I thought that was really interesting. And like they left it on a cliffhanger. So
I think, cool. You know, for me at least, this is like the first, you know, like every episode I've been excited for the next one. But this is sort of the first episode that ended in a way that it's like, oh man, like I wish I could, what's going to happen? Like, you know, because it ends on a cliffhanger. Yeah. And kind of you can, you know, have to know what's happening next. It's not as episodic, you know, where it's, you know, almost every other episode has ended with like him in this spaceship with Baby Yoda flying off to a new planet, where it's like, I wonder where they're going, but it's not like you have to watch the next episode. So we get kind of the big, which maybe I think is going to be like the bad guy. The new Imperial takes out the other ones, you know, just by having like the Death Troopers. It's like he's a bigger deal.
Yeah. They had a lot of stormtroopers with them. I was kind of surprised.
Yeah, probably one of my favorite parts of the whole episode is this, where Kara's talking to him, like, hey, you said there was only going to be 4. And the guild leader's sort of like, well, there's more, you know, what do you want me to tell you? Like, it is what it is. Like, you know, stop complaining about it. I like that dynamic.
Can't do anything about it.
Yeah. But I don't know, I'm curious. Like, I was kind of worried that because they've sort of gone away from the storyline, that it was going to be hard to, like, kind of build things back up and make the stakes high and make you kind of get invested in the main story again. But I feel like they did it. Like, I feel like by bringing everyone back...
it was kind of like, I feel like Mando was basically like, I just got to go deal with this. Like, I'm putting it off. It's not working for me to go anywhere else. He's like, I just got to go back and deal with this situation, and then it'll be over either way. Yeah,
I think kind of, you know, even though the other episodes, the last 3 or so, kind of been like self-contained.
Yeah.
In a kind of a narrative sense, it's also just sort of him realizing...
This isn't working.
Yeah, you have to confront it. Yeah, because even apart from, like, you know, the story connecting in a cliffhanger, you learn more about kind of like the Mandalorians. Like, the client guy is talking about, you know, kind of revealing the backstory of what happened to them, that they were wiped out, they resisted the Empire. kind of gets in even to some of the like the moral gray area where he's talking about like, is things better now that the rebels won? Like the Empire's gone. Like at least when the Empire was there, we could kind of control things and have peace. And which I know, obviously, if you've seen the Star Wars movies, isn't necessarily true. But it's good to kind of get back into some of that because I feel like for the most part they've kept the Mandalorian as a pretty good guy. They haven't really gotten as deep into like it's gray. He's not a good guy or a bad guy. He's still a pretty good guy.
Yeah.
So it kind of brings some of that. You see more Baby Yoda, I guess.
So
Force,
cute.
like he full on kind of dark side chokes her.
That was pretty intense. And then he heals the guild leader.
Yeah, so they finally kind of get into more of that, like kind of showing his powers.
I was just surprised I didn't know what was going on. I guess I just don't really understand. They don't know about the Force?
Yeah, that's always in all the Star Wars. That's like a sort of, you have to suspend disbelief a bit. Like,
Okay.
Like it's been, it's a big galaxy. The main story in the Jedi like happens in like the more big cities. So there's lots of things they can do with that. Like not everyone is watching, in the universe is watching the movies of the Jedis. Like it's been years. They've heard rumors.
Yeah, I just thought the Force.
There's a lot of messed up stuff in the galaxy. So it's not necessarily the Force, but they do kind of get into that more, which was interesting. I think overall, this is one of the better episodes they've had.
Really excited when I was watching it, and I was like, yeah.
And it was just exciting. Like I felt like we were both kind of like we weren't talking a whole lot when we were watching.
No, we were just
we were sure, especially like that chase where the I Have Spoken is riding away and they're chasing him, and it's there's a lot more tension and excitement and because it was characters that we knew, like we were more invested than like we didn't care about the last crew. Like if they died, if they got caught, if he let them live, like we just didn't care. But this episode we cared. So I think for both of us, this is a step back in the right direction. We're both looking forward to. We got to wait a couple weeks until the finale. But hey, let us know what you thought. Did you enjoy this episode as much as we did? Did this kind of restore some of your faith in the show? Was it a step down? Were you enjoying the last stuff? Do you enjoy the more episodic? Let us know. Jump into the comment section. We'd love to hear your thoughts. If you haven't done so already, make sure you subscribe to our channel to keep up with all of our video content. Make sure to keep an eye open for our Rise of Skywalker review, which will be coming up shortly. And we just want to thank you for watching and hope you'll continue to collide with your world for Christ.